and Larry in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hey, Larry, thanks for listening to WCPT. What's on your mind today?
Oh, it's Lewis, not Larry.
Lewis, I'm sorry. You're right.
That's all right. Thanks for having me on. I try and listen as much as I can. I disagree with most of what you say, but I just get information from you to kind of round things out.
Cool.
Okay, you're welcome. I was wondering if you had read Alan Dershowitz's, I'm sorry I murdered his name, but if you read his article that was on The Hill?
No, I didn't, and I think you pronounced his name right. I did not. He's for people who don't know, he's a constitutional law professor who's big on Fox News.
Well, he's very liberal, and he's being chastised for his opinion that Mueller going after Trump's attorney is not good. If I could just get 2 sentences out of his column, I think would cover it. Civil libertarians should be concerned whenever the government interferes with the lawyer-client relationship. And then his last sentence, let me scroll down here, sorry.
Well, while you're scrolling, let me just add, if federal prosecutors, or any prosecutor for that matter, but in this case federal prosecutors, and this was, by the way, this was not the Mueller team that went after him. The Mueller team basically gave a tip to the U.S. prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, who was appointed by Donald Trump and as a Republican, and he was the one who authorized the warrants and is going to conduct the prosecution. So even if Mueller's fired, this is going to continue. And because he was going after a lawyer, basically this is a strategy that is only used to go after mafia lawyers or lawyers who themselves are corrupt. And I would suggest to you, Lewis, that if and it has to go through extra layers of certification, and it has to go through an extra federal judge because there's a lawyer involved to pierce that client-attorney privilege. So Dershowitz is being a little disingenuous in not crediting how rigorous this process is, how difficult it is, how rare it is, and how it's almost always used exclusively against organized crime figures.
Yeah, yes, I understand that. And finally, this other sentence I wanted to read. The silence among most civil libertarians regarding this recent raid shows that we're losing the value of neutrality. And you're going to disagree with me, but I don't really trust this. And I'm scared to hell, about this. I don't think this is the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
And
I understand your concerns, Lewis. If I believed for I was going to say 1 minute, but really for 5 seconds, if I believed that Mueller was breaking or even bending attorney-client privilege in order to get to Trump, rather than in order to take down a corrupt lawyer, which is what this looks like, then I would be totally agreeing with you. But all the evidence that I've seen, and particularly the ways that Michael Cohen has threatened previous reporters and women's, and I'm going to get in your face, I'm going to mess you up. I mean, the guy behaves like a mob lawyer. And of course, Roy Cohen was Trump's first mentor, and he was a mob lawyer. And so, it looks to me like this is not an attempt to get at Trump. This is an attempt to take down a corrupt lawyer who happens to be Trump's lawyer, and that, Trump, being a New York real estate guy, that business. There's a lot of mob guys that you rub shoulders with, and it's looking increasingly like Trump has a mob lawyer. I mean, time will tell. But
right.
If I thought that he was taking down a lawyer just to get to that lawyer's client, I would be screaming from the rooftops, Lewis.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is there any chance I could make a comment about Mr. Pocan's assessment of what Governor Walker did as far as his special elections?
Sure.
Governor Walker simply explained, because they're out of session now. They won't be in session the rest of the year because of the elections. The special election, just right now, they're going to run them. They're going to get in. And
the court mandated
it. Doesn't matter who's in. Right. But they're going to get in and do absolutely nothing. And then the fall election's going to come, and you're going to have to reelect new representatives. And so,
but that is the law.
I really resent the fact that Eric Holder came into the state without a state money, I understand what you're saying about the law, but there's a technicality and there's some issues there. It's common sense, though, to not hold an election where the representatives really aren't going to have a chance to do anything.
Yeah.
And I resent that money was brought in to call for this election when we're going to have another one right
well,
away
money
in
came
November.
in. Money came in from out of state to oppose the elections too. You know, the Koch brothers have been and their buddies have been funding Scott Walker from day one.
That's a big point I want to bring up with you. You always bring up the Koch brothers.
They're spending $400 million in this election. You know, I mean, you know, Russia spent $135,000. We're hysterical about Russia. Why is nobody hysterical about it? The two, you know, the two richest guys in America, or second richest guys in America, spending $400 million to flip an election. That's the definition of oligarchy, Lewis. I would think, as a conservative, you'd be outraged by that.
No.
Barry Goldwater would be furious.
The Koch brothers. What about all the billionaire liberals? We can name them all day. Gates, all of them.
Please name, Lewis, please name one billionaire liberal who has put over a couple $1 million into any election in the last couple of election cycles. I don't know of any. George Soros stopped his political spending a decade ago. I know Fox News still likes to pick on him, but you can't name $1 that he has spent in support of progressive or even Democratic politicians. You know, you've got Tom Steyer, who has spent $1 million of his own money on the move to impeach. That's nothing. That's not $400 million. And Tom Steyer is nowhere near as rich as the Koch brothers. Where are those billionaire, progressive funders? I mean, the Heritage Foundation gives Rush Limbaugh $5 million a year. Nobody's giving me a damn penny.
In the 2016 election, the Koch brothers were 68th on the list of donations. They really dropped their donations for that election.
That's direct donations to campaigns. If you look at the money that they spent, the dark money that they spent buying third-party ads, they were spending hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's what they're going to do in this election too. They're not giving this money to individual politicians. They're going into congressional districts and running ads through their front groups, their Veterans Front Group, their Medical Front Group, their Americans for Posterity Front Group.
Did you catch a couple months back that Soros put $18 billion, gave 18 of his own money towards his front groups?
No, I don't believe it. I have not seen it.
Please look that up. Please look that up. I'm not sure of it. I heard it.
Yeah, I can tell you, Lewis, it's not true. George Soros is just, you know, he funds this open community project or open democracy or whatever it's called, and you know, for civic responsibility and education on civics and stuff. And most of the work that group is doing is international. It's not here in the United States. So, you know, I'm sorry, the billionaires who are funding politicians right now are almost exclusively, I would say more than 95%. And if you can prove me wrong, please do. I mean, you know, I would love to see the actual numbers, but I don't think you can. And you know, post it on our Facebook page. I read it.
I work 70 hours a week, Tom.
Yeah, I got it.
But I know.
But if you're reading right-wing websites, it should be easy to find somebody else have done the research. I'm sorry?
You know, the three billionaires that own the Milwaukee Bucks are liberals. They contribute. It's a conglomeration.
Contribute how much, though?
I don't know that. I don't know all these.
I'm telling you, it's not. It's not $400 million. It's not even $4 million. You know, it really isn't. And Lewis, this is the tragic reality of American politics right now, that we're even having this conversation. Nobody on either side should be funding politicians to these huge levels. You know, in the UK, you can't spend more than $100,000 in an election. I think we can agree on that, can't we, Lewis?
Oh, we can. Loud and clear, we can.
Okay.
So I appreciate all your comments. Have a good day.
Thank you, Lewis. Good talking.